Hi, we are fortunate enough to have with us today Helen Case Bingham. She is here as a representative of the J.I. Case International Corporation, and she has two gentlemen with us. Also, I would like to introduce to you Helen Case Bingham.
Thank you very much. It's awfully good to be here. The day is going well, and there's a breeze blowing. We're managing in a nice way. I may be the first you speak to, but I'm sure that if J.I. Case were here, he would say it's the wonderful people who worked for him in his day that made things click properly. He had an idea in his mind. Agriculture was the big thing, and it was in those days, and that was his great love. And he went to the Middle West with then very basic type of threshing rig, which came out of England, and he got this machinery from, you call it machinery, they were wooden boxes which you could crank by hand, and this would separate the seed from the chaff. And he worked with that. He was a field worker himself. He did his own work, and he traveled to the Middle West, which was the area of Wisconsin, and this was the center of the wheat belt at that time. Hard for us to understand today. But he went out there with a job to do, and he developed from this very basic piece of machinery, which was the best thing since flailing stick to separate the grain. And so he ultimately invented this concept, which seemed to be popular, and from this people came to look at what he'd done, and it developed into the early form of a threshing rig, and he decided to follow this up as his life's work. He had people working with him who knew that he was a man who had a job to do. I don't think he was an easy man to get, because he was so purposeful. I'm sure if you do a thing right or you don't do it at all. I haven't been brought up with that concept through my own father, but there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe today there should be more of it. A newspaper man in a Maryland paper saw a Case steam engine on the front. We didn't know these things were out there. And with that, he being a newspaper man, he found out all the information he needed. We went there. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. And it was a 50 horsepower Case steam engine. It was Jingles engine. And it was fantastic. And that was when we found out that there are people all over the U.S. that care enough to keep them running.
Yes.
And educate our young people.
And you know, it's amazing to me how some people will buy one and just hold on to it for years.
Oh, for
before
years.
they get the opportunity to work on it.
Generation after generation,
yes,
they keep them going. And with what pride they are sold to a next person who will keep it going. And their engines here, a couple of the steam engine, I rode in that engine years ago. I think it was about 1988, and it was in other hands. And once, it was the first big 110 I'd ever seen. I thought I'd died and gone to heaven. And I felt the same way today.
Oh, that's wonderful.
They're beautiful. And God bless those that keep them in running order. And it takes a lot of money and time to keep them in this kind of wonderful shape.
Yes.
Bless them, one and all.
Such a dedication.
And if they want me to ride their engine, just get me in touch with me and I'll go.